our computers to distributed environments using orchestration frameworks that similar or replicating some of Docker or Kubernetes functionality. Today we're listening to the copyright-free music from Bass Rebels. And here's a quick recap of what we have so far. So, I started with deploying a virtual machine in Hyper-V, and on that virtual machine, I deployed CouchDB as a cluster of 3 nodes. So if you run here, I SSH into that machine so that I can port forward my CouchDB service composed of 3 nodes. Okay, so that allows me to log in after I've set up my database. Then what I did is I verified I actually have a cluster of 3 nodes running in my CouchDB that I launched with a Helm instance, with a Helm chart. I think this one. So what I did was I used an HTTP request to update this setting and allow CouchDB on every node, which allows CouchDB to manage the databases, so they create them or they delete them based on my users. And I also enabled some replication from any database to my user and then to this global admin database. Right now, what I achieved is I run 2 services on the core of my network, or the provider, orchestration provider. And the one's called Core and one's called Edge. So the core is the orchestration and the edge is the node management. So I set up an HTTP request from the edge to the core that essentially registered all my nodes for whatever user I'm going to have. So right now this is just for admin. But if I actually show you my tests, I can register users too. So the same way I can register this node, I can register my user. Almost the same. There's slight logical differences there, but it works. So I tested it with Postman, which sends requests. So this is what my self-registering function does in my edge on my core node. And then this is how I intend on registering users, which I haven't done yet because it's not I'm still working on the core. I'm not. I'm not there yet with registering users. Okay, and then what I also did was I tested this sandbox by creating again one core service. I call it core, but it's really going to be command line that essentially watches any package in here that I tell it about, and compiles it, zips it, and encrypts it into here. And then I have another service on the edge that tests that by watching that zipped and encrypted file, it can unzip and unencrypt and install the file, because you can tell it's installed because it has node modules. So I have sandbox and I have registration mechanism that I just confirmed is working. So now my next task is now that my next task, I guess, could be okay, so I'm working backwards here. It might not be my next task, but my next task backwards from here is I would like to be able to take one of these. No. If I'm thinking backwards, this is a little hard, but let's say I have compiled my packages like this, and so I want a core I want a core bootstrap package, and I want an edge bootstrap package. So core bootstrap and edge bootstrap. Which would be known by the time this next service that I'm thinking about here So when this service runs, there's already a core and a core it's already a core and an edge bootstrap. So those things exist. I can run the command line interface and generate those packages. So from here I just say watch this, project, and generate my files. But if I take that a step further, those files need to be on a pod anyway. Those files need to be on a pod. And anytime I change that, the pod would change. That's assuming that my admin was logged into my command line interface. So my pod is updated because my orchestrator is logged in. Okay, so through the command line interface, I'm doing orchestration through the command line interface. I'm doing... Okay, so once this changes, that's not even on the edge anymore. Oh, yes, okay. Let's see. So it basically watches this file, which is package here. So this file, this execution stuff, watches the file, and so I have to break this apart. So this is all going to be part of my command line orchestrator API. Okay. So it watches this package and deploys it to my logged in admin user. But before I can do that, I guess I'll need a basic, like I'll need a way to just, I guess I'll need a way to orchestrate in the first place. Because in my core, where is it? Here. So in my core, does this orchestrate anything? So technically yes, but do I want to reuse my orchestration, so I guess I can't really. So for every node, like I can deploy an orchestration package as a bootstrap. That's what I'm saying. So I do this manually, and I go like hard code that something. Like what degree, I'm trying to figure out what degree am I hard coding this core orchestration at. So if I have a list, I want a list of packages. I don't want just one package. So in my admin, I want to put something in here. My core. So I guess I have a configuration right here. So what I have to do, that's another thing, is no, because everything will be taken from the database. So here I have this node config, and then here it has pods. So as a pod, I want to merge pod status with a pod config. So I will replicate the attachment, like the code, but then to every config. Every node config will be able to have even duplicate. Yeah, what happens if I have duplicate code pods? So if I had duplicate, I don't want to introduce too many restrictions. So by only having one configuration of a pod to every node, so I can redeploy that same configuration in many units on the same node. That'd be really cool. So okay. So what I can do is I can have a relational link from here. So this is just going to link to every status, and then so here. And then from status to config. so that I can normalize the configs and I only have one attachment per code if I want to scale up on the same node. Okay. Good. Good. Let's see, does it change, does it save? No. Okay. So, easy database design. A little bit more code, but still. So, what else do I want? I want, in order to start orchestrating this better, okay, I guess status stopped can be like something I set on it. I guess I could put in a couple more enums for now. Like, or just one more enum. No, a couple. Status I could do something with. I could also do protection. So if I call this protection or security, new file. Okay. So this is going to be private. Private friends. Public, obviously. Private, friends, public. Oh, and then tags. Tags are different. Tags go on the node. Under node config. Tags. Array model string. So, I'm gonna have to redeploy rebootstrap this. So, okay. Where is it? So there's tags. And then security. So I want only me to access this resource, or I want my friends, or I want everyone. And then what would be a protected? Oh, I see. So I was wondering if I could provide another enum that says I guess if my status is something. So the idea is my node would change in some way, like from initializing to up, and then my deployment service would see that and bootstrap it. And okay, so I was wondering if once it's up and so once it's up and the security is fine, like I'm trying to use a private package in a private environment, like from the same user. Then I could mark this. Okay, that doesn't matter. Then I can mark whether or not I want this to actually accept my so like a coordinate method. Open sesame. Open availability. Okay. Okay, so here I'm just gonna go with off. And on. Okay, so with the status, once it changes from up, if it's not in error, like if it's truly like something becomes up, but none of the other ones, then I check its deployment and I deploy anything that it's missing. And with that, I'm going to cut it really short today because I have a tickle in my throat and I don't want to make it worse. I think I snored last night. Anyway.